So I recently purchased this Delta 4694, and it came to my attention after I did a little review on it that there really aren't very many videos on the assembly of it. And unfortunately, I hadn't watched the video before I attempted to assemble this, and the instructions are just, they're lacking. And they're especially lacking when it comes to the bevel assembly, which they really do need to add to their instructions, because if somebody doesn't realize what's going on, they're going to end up getting really hurt with this plate. And the odds are they'll tear up their machine too. So anyway, I'm going to disassemble it. And I wanted to do this before I used it because, you know. But I'm going to disassemble it, and then I will show you what I feel the problems are when you're going to assemble it, and hopefully it's going to help somebody out. Okay, so I've taken it apart, and the only thing I did not go ahead and take off was this little blade guard. It's super simple to put on, and you just take the screws out here on the side and then put the guard in and put the screws back in. It's not really rocket science on that. My concern with this machine, though, is when I got it, this little nub back here that your plate sets on doesn't have the O-ring, and I believe it's supposed to have one. So I'm going to have to pick one of those up later. Like I said, the instructions don't mention this bevel at all, really. I mean, not as far as putting it together and then, you know, sticking it on the machine. So I went ahead and, well, I guess I need to tighten that down. I went ahead and put this piece on, and then don't put your knobs on yet. Here's the knob and the bolt that comes with it. Don't put these on yet. That was my first mistake. So once you have this piece put on, and double check all your screws, because also this was really pretty loose. It was way too loose to be holding the plate. It was, you put the plate on and it just kind of bent forward. So double check all your screws, because mine did have a lot of play in them. Go ahead and put your, and you'll fill, this will hold your arm up, and you'll fill the little slot that it slides into as you raise this, and then it'll pop in, and there you go. So raise that up. Then, and it's a heavy beast, so anybody who doesn't have a lot of strength, be prepared for that. But take your, well, I'm going to show you something else first. So for the bevel, once you put this on here, this comes with this little, I don't know what it's called. It's a little pin thingy. So that's what I'm calling it, the little pin thingy. And there's a groove on your bevel, which it will fit into. So you'll feel it. You can feel it when you tilt your table a little. You'll feel that slip in there, and that's when you want to put your knob on. So when you put your knob on, you need to be able to access underneath here, because right here is where this bolt is going to come through. So you're going to get up under it, which I don't know if I have it pulled out enough. And then go ahead and you can see where it's going to pop through this way. But it'll pop through and come through here, and that'll be that. So let me grab a hold of it and get it up there. So you're going to stick this, because there's a hole. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can. There's a hole on the end, and you're going to slide that over that little nub. And now I don't have this, of course, bolted down, so just grab wherever you can and push it back as much as you can. And you kind of have to wiggle a little too. Let me see if I've got it back far enough to just set it on there. And I do. So, like right now, you can feel that when it hits that little nub. Let me find my little nub again. Am I too far? Oh, there it is. So anyway, right there it is. And it should be totally even once you hit that little nub. So then once you do that, take your bolt and get it back up in there. And through that hole that I just showed you a minute ago, find the hole again. And it'll pop right out there. Once it does that, you're going to take your little, whatever that thing's called, and stick it on there with the piece that sticks out inward, you know, so that it's over top. You're going to have the flat side on, you know, facing you, because that's what's going to let this thing slide once you do it. And then take your knob and screw it on. Now I did have to tighten up a lot of my screws on the side plate were loose. Something I had a concern about is the bottom blade holder. It's got a lot of play in it, and so I'm not sure how that's gonna, I might end up having to, I don't know, put a little piece of cork in there, or maybe some rubber, I don't know yet. But go ahead and tighten this up really well, because you still need to make sure that your plate is flush against this little back piece, you know, where your nub was at. And I'm probably going to need a rubber mallet to do that. Did I do it with my rubber mallet? Well, that's a good question. I do have a rubber mallet. Maybe I can just pound it with my hand. We'll see. No, I need the mallet. All right. What do I do with it? Oh. Okay, so got my rubber mallet. I'm just gonna, I don't feel like that's sitting. Unscrew this for a second. And put my body into it. You do got to make sure it's flush against that. You don't want that coming off the nub, or whatever it's called. I just call it a nub. Oh, sorry. It is kind of a booger getting it on there. Why are you not going? Put you on. Okay, so I just had to wiggle it a little bit to get it where it needed to be. But you want to make sure that that is flush against that metal piece back there. And then put my thing back together here. Of course, you can't get your hand in there. Oops. But once you do that, it you don't even actually have to hold that back section, because it has the way that fits in there, it stops the bolt from turning, so it automatically is going to screw in to your knob. But there, that's nice and tight. And then you just loosen it, you know, to move your, you hear that little click? That's where it hit in that groove. So as soon as it hits the groove, just tighten it up, and it should be level. Let's just see if it is. Well, my table itself is probably not level, so that probably doesn't help matters. So, now that you got that piece on, you're going to, if you want it, you don't have to use this, but if you do, it goes over here, and it has its own little groove that it goes in. So you just pop it in and tighten it down. That's if you want to use it. You know, it might end up being in my way, and I might take it off. Who knows? I had somebody recommend that, you know, I might as well not bother with it, but I figure I'd stick it in there and see how it goes. But the blades are really nice to load. It's supposed to come with blades. Mine didn't, but I had blades here, so it wasn't that big a deal to me. But if you don't have blades, how disappointing. How disappointing to get a new saw, be all excited about it, and then not be able to use it, because you have to wait on blades. But anyway, you just pop those down in there and tighten them up with your little thingy wop. And I just like eyeballing it, because to make sure I got it in there, and make sure I have it back far enough and tightened on there too. And now just push your button in and release your top piece. No, sounds easy. There. And let it go down to where it needs, and you can put your, see if I've got that open enough. Oops. And then just tighten your blade. And make sure when you do all this that you do have zero tension. You want this all the way to the front. But let's get that tightened on there. I'm so far, like I said, I haven't used it, but I'm really impressed with the machine itself. At least the quality of aspects of it, you know, short of them not sending things with it. This pops out a lot of air, whereas on my little Central Machinery one, I don't even know why they bothered sticking that on there. It doesn't work at all. Another thing I didn't realize until I got it, now this only takes pinless blades. So make sure if you order any, you get pinless. Another thing I didn't realize is that it doesn't have the vacuum port, you know, so that you can hook it up and catch all your dust. But I figure I can finagle something up to make it work for me anyway. What else was there? It does have this little blade holder. I don't know how useful that will end up being for me, but who knows? Stick snacks in it or something maybe, I don't know. But I will turn it on. I'm going to make sure, because I don't have it bolted down. I'm not bolting it to this table. But I'll at least let you hear it. Let me get it plugged in. And I'm sorry if my video quality is not great, but this is only like the second or third video I've ever made anyway. And I just wanted to do it so that people did realize there are things, like I said, the instructions don't mention that bevel, you know, how to connect that. And without that, what would happen is when you turn it on, I mean, this whole plate could just fall off. You know, who wants that? But anyway, I don't know what it's set on right now. Oh, I guess I could set my tension. Here's how you set your tension. You just pull it over. And there you go. As far as you adjust your speed up here with this little knob. So I think, considering what I have it setting on and the fact that it's not bolted down, I don't feel like the vibration is anything crazy. I mean, there's full speed. So yeah, I don't feel like that's bad. But you just, you know, on and off. It's super, and they're real easy too. They're kind of touchy, which if you have a lot of kids or something running around, or I don't know if you might want to make something for that. I will never do that, but whatever. And this actually pops out a lot of air, so that I'm happy about too. I do wish it had that vacuum port though. But anyway, there was my concerns with it, not, as far as the assembly goes, with the instructions being what they are. I'm amazed they don't mention that, because what somebody's going to do is they're going to attach that bevel piece just like I did, and then they're going to go ahead and attach the knob on it. Well, then they're going to stick it on their machine, and it's just going to be on the nub with nothing holding it, because that's what keeps it stable on there. So hopefully that helps somebody out.